you want to go to a party with me?
No, the game's on.
Oh, I almost forgot. I'll be right there.
We like sports and we don't care who knows. From shooting hoops to the Super Bowl. We like sports and we don't care who knows. Football, tennis, hockey.
And welcome back, everybody, to another beautiful hour of Ball Talk. I am Luke, here with my co-host,
Aidan Lanham.
And this week is going to be a great episode because we get to talk nonstop about college basketball.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite sports time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Spring coming around, you have like pretty much all the best sports besides football. Like baseball season's about to start, NBA's in full swing, and then college basketball is at its peak greatness right now.
I can't, for me, March Madness is my favorite sports spectacle to watch. I can't
absolutely.
lie.
It's way better than any one championship game.
It hurts me to pick it over the World Series, but I have to. How can you not? Just the Cinderella runs, just the players coming out of nowhere.
There's just
so cool.
so much more content and so much more stories that comes out of it, and it's just nonstop. And especially now with how much streaming and all just the television predators.
Oh, the easy access, all
you
over
can literally
devices.
watch almost every single game of the tournament, and it's just holy crap.
Yeah, I can't wait to not pay attention in class at all and watch March Madness games.
Why would you?
Even though I have one class
what kind of American citizen are you if you pay attention in class during March Madness? That's
you're one who doesn't enjoy emotions and excitement. That's the American citizen you are.
No, yeah, for sure. It's March Madness and the NCAA tournament and conference tournaments too. Gosh, are just some of the it's definitely top 5 sports spectacle.
Oh, and they give birth to
one.
some absolute legends too. You think about it, we mentioned Cardiac Kemba,
Steph
Curry, Davidson,
Jimmer Fredette is just
and then
every white guy's hope and dreams.
Oh, 100%. And then I always think about when R.J. Hunter hit the Georgia State game winner and his dad in the boot fell off the wheelie chair.
Oh my God, he got drafted just because of that
just
tournament.
Because of that. Really, those 4 games.
The NCAA
3
tournament,
games, whatever they played.
The NCAA tournament, sometimes just creates high draft picks because of someone just super performs and they're like, oh, we've never even seen this guy before. He's so good. Look at the upside. And then just all right, well, he's actually just okay.
March Madness is the greatest combine ever.
It's for real though, for real.
So to start with March Madness, we already have, let's see, 5 tickets for sure punched. I mean, the Big Ten tournament's done, so there'll be 5 teams getting in from there, but 1 for sure. But start the Atlantic Sun, which is home of Florida Gulf Coast, but they didn't win as the 1 seed in the championship. Lipscomb beat them to get into the tournament for the first time ever.
So Florida Gulf Coast is going to be out, right? They're not.
Yeah, no, Florida. They will not get in that large.
Yeah. Sad.
And it sucks because everybody wants to watch Florida Gulf Coast again because of the one year they were Dunk City or whatever they called it.
Yeah, but they don't even have that coach anymore. He's the coach at USC.
Yeah, no, that whole team's long gone, and yet people still just remember him as Dunk City.
Well, it's also just I don't know. Where's Lipson? Who are they? Where are they from?
Dude, I love first appearance teams.
No, yeah, it's great. They're heartwarming. It's great.
Yeah, and it sucks for them. Their projection is a first 4 game. It would suck to win your conference and be projected into a first 4.
Okay, so I have a take. Obviously, this is never going to happen, but Harvard as a 16 seed is a little bit scary.
It's a tempting 16 over 1 pick, especially if they play Kansas.
Oh yeah. Well, I say if they play Kansas or Xavier. They definitely won't beat Virginia. Virginia would just be no,
Virginia or Nova.
Virginia, you're just not scoring, and Nova's just they're too good.
Nova's too well coached. Just no shot.
I can see them
16.
Kansas being sloppy or Xavier being sloppy, and just
letting it slip.
Harvard's been in the tournament before a lot, and it's an experienced program, and them as the 16 seed is I was really shocked by that. I was I haven't been following Harvard. Obviously,
I'm not a big Ivy League basketball fan, but
they're usually a 10 or 12 seed. I feel like.
Yeah, every time they get in, but I just wonder if the Ivy League's just been that bad this year that maybe they are a 16 seed. But I mean, hey, Harvard 16 seed. Honestly, they play Kansas.
Oh no, yeah, and to reiterate my take last week, Kansas is the most overrated. They've won
the Big 12 is the most overrated conference.
Big 12 is the most overrated conference, and Kansas is the most overrated college basketball team every single year. They haven't won. They haven't won a title since 2008, and then the last time they won the title before that was 88. So it's not like they're winning a ton of championships either. They're just always the best in the Big 12, which is like, okay, cool. No one in the Big 12 wins the championship either. It's just like it's not like they're like have other teams in their conference that are like winning the championship, and they literally always win the conference championship. So it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah, and with Lipscomb, again, first appearance, they didn't like. I was looking at them because I'm like, hey, maybe this is a upset team. Look, they played Bama, Texas, Purdue, and Tennessee, all predicted to get in. Like Bama and Texas, like last 4 in teams, but they're all picked to get in. Didn't beat any of them though. Lost all 4 kind of easily. Like I think the closest margin was like 11 to Tennessee.
Who's this again?
This is Lipscomb.
Okay.
Yeah, good old Lipscomb. That favorite.
See, like that's how like relevant I feel like they're going to be in the tournament. Is I already forgot their name. Like
Yeah,
I don't see them being. The sad thing is I don't think the best chance we have at a 15 or 16 upset is Harvard.
Oh, I agree.
But like Harvard, that'd be so tough. Like I want to see it happen because like seeing that happen in your lifetime is like the absolute goal and like pinnacle of NCAA.
Oh, dude, that would
basketball.
be the most like treasured moment of March Madness history because it's still unprecedented. It never happened. Never even really been thought of. I think
it's been close a few times.
I think last
maybe like
year,
in the first half. But like,
I think last year or 2 years ago there was a pretty close 16-1 seed, and I think it might have been a Big 12 team. Like I think it was either like
like
it was something like decently close. I'm talking like finished by 10 points, like a 10-point spread, and that's a close 16-1 game. But the next ticket we have punched, Big South Conference, Radford. Their third appearance, first since 2009. Another first 4 game.
sounds like a farming town.
Oh, it's got to be, dude. Like, I mean, they're in the Big South Conference. So there's your answer for it sounds like a farming town. But again, looked at their schedule. They beat UC Davis, who right now is a projected turning team just because they're going to win their conference tournament. But again, they also played good teams, though. They played Ohio State, Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, and Nevada. Vandy, probably the weakest link of those 4, but still not an awful school. Like
they usually have an okay program, especially the last few years. They've been pretty good.
Yeah, and they've been getting better. But I mean, I think when they lost to Vandy, it was like an 8 or 9 point game. They kept it pretty close against Nevada, who we both were talking about. We think Nevada is a highly underrated team.
Yeah, I really like Kendall Stevens for Nevada. He's like a 6'6", 6'7" wing player, and he can knock down the 3. I think
you love your 3-and-D guys.
Oh
man.
my gosh, I think he's gonna be one of those guys that like he's not gonna be some great like breakout rookie, but like
just one dude who's going to contribute just consistently.
Yeah, he could average like 9 points a game and shoot like 38%, 40% from 3 for the season. Like
that's all you need out of a rookie if you don't need a star. Right
if you
away.
look at Toronto's, like I like him as a like late first. Like obviously, I don't think he's gonna go late first round just because like he's really underrated right now. But unless he just breaks out, but
March Madness, that's the time.
I feel you, yeah. If you look at like Toronto's bench right now, like it's a ton of like 1 year, 2 year guys that like they have like 1 or 2 guys that are like one and done, but then the rest are like experienced players like Fred VanVleet, and they're contributing a lot like for a really successful team. So like going to a team that like is a winning team and having him as like a 3-and-D wing backup, I see great like NBA potential there. Especially in the tournament, you always want guys that can just knock down threes and
guard play and like hitting threes are
it's huge. That's what wins you tournaments.
That's what gets you the tournament. Like guard play, defense threes. Yeah, like you cannot have a big man and be okay.
That's why we were talking about this earlier. You didn't really like many of the ACC teams besides Virginia, North Carolina, and Duke. I think
I barely even like Duke, but
I mean, yeah, they're just really inconsistent this year.
Super, but yeah, go on.
I really like Miami. I watched them earlier in the year at the. They were in the Nike like Thanksgiving week tournament. The
Phil
PK80.
Yeah.
And they like. I'm pretty sure they played Duke, and they like really pushed it, and like.
Well, they just beat North Carolina, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. But they're just like really, really athletic, quick guards that like just tough matchups for anyone because like it's hard to guard really fast, small guys in NCAA.
Yeah, well, that's why Wichita State. God, whenever Shaka Smart was still their coach, that's why they went on that huge run because their guard play.
Touched TCU.
Thank you. That
Wichita
guard
State
play,
saw the same coach.
Yeah, that guard play, VCU was just incredible. Like they played so fast, and their defense was insane, and they're just hard to slow down.
Yeah, that's why I like Texas as one of those play-in teams. Like they could really just make a they won't go deep probably, but they could make like a little run.
A little
do some
first round
damage.
upset is that 11 seed.
Yeah, exactly.
That
That's
weird 11 seed playing game they created.
Yeah, I think that's a tough matchup because they have Roach, who's a really athletic guard who can go off the bounce and just rise up and dunk on you. And then obviously if Bomba comes back healthy, he's just a really good rim protector. And if he plays well on offense, it's tough to stop him.
Yeah, right now they're projected one to play USC in the play-in game, and then Kentucky if they win that. And
That's tough though.
those are two tough games for them to win. I think they could take USC,
Are we going? So
but
I looked at the CBS bracket and I thought it was absolute trash. Like not in terms of seeding. I agree with the seeding. I just think their placement of teams was like really questionable. Like they just overloaded the West. Like that clicked on something accidentally. But in the West they put Michigan State, Kansas, Ohio State, Arizona, North Carolina, and like St. Mary's, who's a really good 9 seed. And I was just like, that's just like not fair. And UCLA, TCU.
The ESPN one's looking pretty similar.
I think it's a little bit like more spread out though. I just don't want.
touch.
I just don't want. My problem with the ESPN one is I wouldn't want Clemson and Wichita State as in the same.
The 4-5
in the same 4-5 bracket because like that. I just think that's like, all right, you're giving one of them too easy of a route, and I could see one of them getting like I could see Vermont beating Wichita State.
Oh well, really quick. Speaking of Clemson, bracketology right now has them playing Loyola Chicago, who is the Missouri Valley champ, and the Missouri Valley Conference, I swear, upsets their team every year in the first round. Loyola Chicago beat Wright State, who right now is projected turning team, and then they beat Florida in Gainesville. Like, that's a good win.
It's a really good win.
Like, Loyola
Florida's
Chicago.
Florida's also. Oh no, I think I may be thinking of Florida instead of Miami. But actually, Miami and Florida have really good guard play.
Yeah, but I think again, guard play gonna win you games. But
Yeah.
Loyola Chicago,
That's tough.
Like,
I like that.
they went into Gainesville and beat Florida, and you're telling me they could come out and play Clemson
That's
first
a
round?
great
See ya.
matchup. If I'm them, I'm just like hyped.
And
Like,
they're in this sweet, perfect spot, the 12 seed. 12 seeds are always like 2-2 or 3-1.
You always like get one.
There's
12
there's
seed
going to
at
be a
least.
12 seed upset, and this projection, Gonzaga's not going to lose
So-
first round. Ohio State to Middle Tennessee, maybe. Florida won't lose first round.
Looking at
But Clemson, Loyola, Chicago, I would take the good old Rumblers. Loyola, Chicago, Rumblers all day long.
yeah. So looking at Harvard's like who they've lost to in terms of like top RPIs, they played St. Mary's, lost to them by like quite a lot. But
Yikes.
then they played at Kentucky in December and only lost by 9
In December,
in Kentucky.
yeah, you got to remember, December, that was the stretch. Kentucky was really struggling, though.
Yeah, but it's still like
And it's still Kentucky in Kentucky.
like
in Kentucky at a good old Rupp, but
and like just in terms of like athleticism, if you're like being able to like slow them down.
yeah, like run with them pretty much.
Exactly. Like that's really
impressive because
that's, like-
Kentucky's athleticism is insane. Like they may not have been
they're always like
shooting well at any stretch of the season, but
yeah,
their athleticism.
this year especially they have like they're a much more raw group of guys than before. And I think they're like heavily reliant on athleticism versus like real like not skill. Like they obviously have skill, but I'm saying like
but like pure raw skill.
They're definitely like more reliant on their athleticism than they should have been especially early on.
Yeah, I mean Harvard 16 seed. Like you're kind of convincing me more and more to where if Harvard gets in as a 16 seed and they play, I want Harvard to play Kansas first round, and I am picking Harvard. I will pick Harvard.
I'll make 2 brackets, and I'll have one of them that has Harvard, and one of them that like, all right, let's be real.
Oh no, I'll make the real one. You got to go bold in the real one. That's how you win your pools. Like that's just how you do it. You got to make some. You got to make one or two dumb picks and
the
hopes
problem
they
is
work.
with like doing that is like then like Kansas could like just like have that year where like it's been 10 years. It's time for us to win another championship, and like they go on to like the Final Four, and you're just like, well, god damn it! Like now my bracket's screwed.
Yeah,
because you picked them to lose in the first round.
That's true. That's true. But it's a
it's a risk.
It's
yeah.
a risk
It's
that
a risk.
I personally would so be willing to take.
Yeah.
Is a hard because could you imagine how good I would look if Harvard beat Kansas as 16-1 first round? Just sitting here telling all like 2 listeners we probably have. like, hey, money on Harvard, and they just make insane amounts. Like, that would be pretty cool.
Luke, betting on NCAA sports.
I'm saying I'm not betting.
Okay,
I'm saying the people listening are.
that's fair.
Yeah, see?
We don't condone that, but if you're gonna do it,
As long as
bet
you're
on
not an
Harvard.
athlete,
So-
you're fine.
and as long as you bet on Harvard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One more final or for sure ticket punch already done. It was Murray State outside of Ohio Valley. Murray State projected 13 seed. This is their 16th appearance. They're a seasoned team. I Yeah.
like them.
Murray State could be again the sweet spot of the 12 and 13 seeds.
Yeah.
The ones that are always guaranteed for at least one upset. Murray State could be another like decently safe one. They beat Wright State again on the road in Wright State. Wright State's another, like I said earlier, projected tourney team to win their conference. But they lost to Mid Tennessee State, who's going to be a tourney team.
Let's say that's not a bad loss.
No, it's not a bad loss. And they lost to Auburn at home. Auburn's a good team. And they were both close games, though. Like, they played them well. And I don't know what kind of home court advantage Murray State racers could have, but Auburn coming in, beating them at home. Close game, I would take that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with how well Auburn turned out to be playing.
I just like looking at it since we're gonna go by the ESPN one, and like that's we'll take that. We'll take that as Bible.
I heart Joe Lenardi. That's why I go ESPN. I'm
that's
not gonna
fair.
lie.
Joe Lenardi's a very handsome man.
He is, dude. Good looking guy. He's got nice, just jet black hair.
He definitely doesn't diet.
Not at all.
I just don't see like if they got matchup with West Virginia, that's game over. Like,
yeah, press Virginia.
That's
like
West Virginia's built for NCAA tournaments to like make it to the Sweet 16, and then like their offense isn't good enough to get them any farther.
And I would love a West Virginia-Florida second-round matchup. Like, West Virginia would take that. I think. I feel like you're going to disagree because you love the guard play, but I'm a big defense guy.
Well, I mean, West Virginia also has like good guard play. It's just like especially on the defensive end, they have like the best defensive guard in the country. Yeah, that's tough. That'd be a fun game. That'd be a really fun game. I'd want to see that too.
And then, I mean, those are the only tickets punched already, which is kind of sad. Just those 5.
You are for.
Did I mention the Big Ten?
We have not mentioned the Big Ten. Which
'Kay.
For God knows what reason, they had their tournament in New York City when
What, dude?
literally every team in the Big Ten is from the Midwest. Like, why? Just why?
Money? I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. Like what fan base?
Why
is
does
it?
the
Like,
NCAA do anything they do?
That's. I mean, yeah, but like, this doesn't make sense because like it's not where your fan base is. Like, how is that like driving more people to the like? How is that? I don't. What's the reasoning behind that?
There probably isn't much. But, okay, tournament. Michigan beat Purdue. Not Michigan State, Michigan, who I feel like really came out of nowhere this entire like last month and a half.
Yeah, they've been really strong. And
They've been
it's kind of similar to
dominating.
last year. Like they
came in the back-to-back tournament champs. By the way, they won the conference tournament last year.
Mm-hmm. I was really scared as an Oregon fan because I knew we were gonna have to face them, because they were just really, really hot last year. But luckily, it came out in our favor.
Yeah, dude, and I'm a big like if you come in rolling to the
Yeah.
tournament, like the team that's coming in hot is the team that's gonna have a good tournament most of the time. Like there's sometimes I just don't. They have such a long break now. Like they have a lot of time off until they have to play another game.
Which is good. Like they get a lot of rest and a lot of practice time in, and they'll be like ready for whoever they play. Which right now is like or that's the wrong bracket.
They're projected 3 seed.
Ooh, that's big moves.
Yeah, dude, they moved.
They're
up.
gonna play like Bucknell, which like
Yeah, I haven't.
Bucknell's been to the tournament before and stuff, but I just don't like Michigan's really hot, so I don't see.
Yeah,
Michigan
again, dude,
getting
just
upset.
when you're going. Like big proponent of if you come in hot after winning your tournament. After like, it's the UConn lesson. That's honestly what I call it myself.
The
like,
UConn lesson, yeah.
They came in just dominated like their conference. Well, not even really dominated. They just got hot, won their conference tournament, and then just ran through the tournament. Like,
No, yeah, absolutely. They did that like with UConn did that also with like the year they won it with Napier.
yeah,
And so it's like if you have like one good guard that can like just get you buckets and then you can play good enough defense, you can make it in the tournament.
well, and
One like great guard, one great guard.
yeah, you need a guard who can do it all. You can't just have a dude who can who can drive. You need a guard who can drive, pass, shoot, open three. Like he needs to just be able to do it all. Played some defense, but the thing Michigan started getting was like a lot of big men to play well. Because like they have a stretch 4, stretch 5 dude who started playing well in the conference tournament, started hitting a ton of threes. Then they had their backup guy who carried them in the championship game. Their backup big man.
Yeah.
Like, that is nuts. I haven't heard of a college team with a backup big man carrying them in a really long time because it's just, you don't hear that.
If I'm Purdue and I'm looking at like the ESPN bracket and I'm taking his Bible, like, then I'm scared because one, they've been slumping. Like, I don't see them like losing their 15 seed, but like, if you have to play Oklahoma in that next game, like, that's tough. Like, you're going
Oklahoma's another team, dude. They catch fire, they're gonna put up 110 points.
No, yeah, exactly. And like, if
Trae Young casually dropping 45 in tournament
people
play.
like he's been struggling a lot lately, and my thing is with this. You become like such a prolific scorer, and like you're obviously in conference play now, and you're playing these guys twice after like the first time, or even the first time because they've seen you all preseason and they're scouting you. They have a plan for you, and they're gonna like throw 3 guys at you, and like they're gonna be like, all right, other guys beat us, and the other guys haven't been playing well either. So I don't really put too much into it. Like, I understand that he's like definitely struggled more than he probably should have, but like I think. In the Big 12 tournament, we'll see, and like in the beginning of the tournament, if they make it, how he's shaped up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Oklahoma's a terrifying March team, just because.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's not even like just. I mean, okay, yeah, just Trae Young can carry them to a win. He's done it before, but he's not the only dude on the team who can get hot and dominate.
No, yeah, they have a decent team like around him.
Yeah, like Trae Young is the superstar, the superstar
centerpiece.
guard that we talked about that you need, but they have enough supporting cast to where they could do damage, especially as a 10 seed. Like,
yeah, that's a like pretty good spot for them.
Yeah, like a 10 seed would be a good spot. Like
because I feel like a lot of times the 7 seeds are like a little bit overrated.
They're
like,
dude, they
you see, like right now it's like Seton Hall, Arkansas, Houston. I like Houston. I like a lot.
I do like Houston too. Big
and
fan of
Texas
Houston.
A&M, where it's like those are all beatable teams. Like 7 and 10 is like I feel like just another 8-9.
Yeah, no,
which it makes sense because it's like the next one.
Yeah, I 100% agree though. 7-10 matchups no different from an 8-9.
But I feel like a lot of times like the 8-9 matchups are like way more exciting. Like St. Mary's, Virginia Tech, that's a fun matchup. Virginia Tech's been like really up and down. Like they'll play really good against some of the big teams, but then they'll like drop some games.
I mean, my favorite 8 seed personally right now is Rhode Island, which I guarantee people have no idea how well they've been playing outside of like
really
this
good.
last week and a half. They really struggled, but like they were dominating teams. Like, and I'm talking about like power teams too. Like they weren't playing just their run of the mill conference. Their out of conference was impressive, and they got all the way up to like number 13 or something like that.
Yeah, they were really hot for a while. I just don't. Right now, they're matched up like the second round. They would play against Villanova, most likely, and I like Villanova like going at least to the Final Four. They're just so good. Like their guard Brunson, and then Bridges. Is it Bridges? Their wing. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges.
I believe.
Yeah.
I'm trusting you. We'll just say you're right.
He's
nobody Google that.
That dude, that duo is so strong. It's Mikal Bridges. I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but it's like Michael McHale.
Dude, I didn't know E.C. Matthews was still on Rhode Island.
I don't even know who E.C. Matthews
is. He was a top guard recruit. He was one of the guys last year that was like, pick Rhode Island because E.C. Matthews is going to carry this team.
He's 6'5", 200.
Yeah, he's a point guard.
That's tough.
He's
That's
like
tough.
he was.
That's kind of like the Penn State strategy with Tony Carr. Like Tony Carr, like Ohio State fans know Tony Carr very well because he's shredded you guys 3 times. But yeah, that's tough. That's a
E.C. Matthews when he came out, he was like, I want to say he was like a top 15 recruit, and he picked Rhode Island, and everybody was like, "What?
What are you
like?
doing?
Why did he just do this?" But now he's at Rhode Island, and they've honestly
He cares about his schooling, man. He's not. Either they drop the fattest.
He's a
bag,
nerd.
Either they drop the fattest bag of that year, or he really cares about academics.
Or just a little bit of both.
Also true, but I would say the bag.
Yeah, I would agree. The other 8 seed, you and I were talking about to where if they get one player back,
Oh my God!
would be the most prolific 8 seed in probably college basketball history, Missouri.
I mean, other than Northern Iowa, University of Northern Iowa, and Ali Farouk Manesh, but
Okay, yes.
of course, obviously.
Again, another guy we've mentioned before, but yes, Missouri, Michael Porter Jr., is still a
That's
maybe,
so,
but
I want that to happen so bad, just so bad.
I like.
I obviously don't want Butler to be there because I like Butler, and I think don't let them get bumped out in the first round. That kind of sucks. But
Well, that's the thing. Missouri comes out, dominates SEC tournament. If Michael Porter plays, like, how high could they go?
he's so good. To be fair, we haven't seen him in college at all, but
He played 2 minutes.
but he just from what we've seen in terms of his high school tape and what he is as an athlete. He's 6'10", can shoot the ball, can play make. It's hard to want more from a player. He's a pseudo Ben Simmons, just better shooter.
And that's scary because Ben Simmons was very good in college and can't hit a jump shot to save his life.
All.
I mean, he's dominating. He's doing pretty good in the NBA too. Still can't hit a jump shot.
He's okay.
But I mean, you look at Missouri right now; they're an 8 seed, and the highest that I can find right now out of the SEC is Tennessee as a 3 seed.
Tennessee's a 3 seed.
Yeah, against Montana.
I can see them losing to Montana.
I could see them losing to Montana too.
That's just why.
SEC is another why are these seeds getting so high? But at one point, you got to realize that college basketball's just been an absolute shit show this year. That some questionable teams are going to get high seeds.
I just
because
feel
nobody wanted to win.
Here's my take. A lot of people don't agree with this because they just think the Pac-12 is bad. I think the Pac-12 isn't as bad as people say it is. I say the conference is really competitive most of the time, and so we eat each other up. So Arizona State, who's a good team and has beaten Kansas and Xavier, gets eaten up in conference because it's a competitive conference with a lot of good coaching.
A lot of really good. I feel like that's the part where people don't understand is outside of U of A, UCLA, and sometimes Oregon, and USC occasionally, nobody gets huge recruits.
Exactly. So it's
but they just have great coaches up and down the conference. Colorado's always a well-coached team. Utah sometimes will find ways to sneak wins out if you're not paying attention. And then
Utah's been this is a down year for them, but they're a good program. And Oregon State's still down, but Tinkle's a really good coach. I just think a conference like the Big 12, who has how many people projected to be in 8 teams.
8 teams.
What makes them so much better than the Pac-12? Besides the fact that they're playing Big 12 teams, but
and the fact that
watch them play, it's they're not that great.
Texas Tech is a 4 seed. And U of A is the highest Pac-12 team as a 4 seed. You're telling me,
yeah, exactly.
U of A and Texas Tech, you line them up head to head. Texas Tech has been more impressive than U of A. I won't buy it.
I think it's a little bit ridiculous and ridiculous. That's just my take. I think Pac-12 is a very underrated and over scrutinized conference. I think it has the same issue on the women's side. The teams just eat each other apart because it's so competitive and the coaching is so high level.
Yeah.
That it's just of course they're gonna have less teams because they've just torn themselves apart in conference. Which, by the way, Sco Ducks, Oregon women basketball won the Pac-12 tournament.
Yeah, ASU almost pulled it out. But really quick, since you brought up women's basketball, I saw this notification on my phone. UConn, shocker, UConn's dominating. But really quick, they're playing the 4 seed of their conference tournament right now.
Yeah.
They're up 69-20 in the 4th quarter. They didn't let Cincinnati score in the 2nd quarter.
That's ridiculous. They scored 5 points in the 1st quarter.
They have yet to get to double digits in a quarter. They have 9 right now in the 4th quarter.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't remember who else is in the American Athletic Conference, but UConn obviously isn't tested much in conference, so that's why they play a lot of tough out-of-conference games. And obviously they're always a really good team, so I'm but they don't get challenged as much as their conference is so weak.
South Florida's the second. I mean, yeah.
The Pac-12 in general is just a very competitive conference from year to year, and both sides, men's and women's. And I just think it's time we got some respect. Put some respect on their name.
Just for once, just one time, just give the Pac-12 love, both men's and women's. It never happens. One or two teams always gets gypped when March Madness comes around.
Well, you look at if you just record basis, Oregon's 20, obviously biased. Oregon's 20-10, 21-10, and they're not even considered. Whereas Oklahoma is not even a 20-win team, and there's because
and Oklahoma's barely 500 too.
Yeah,
overall, barely 500.
I don't know if they're barely 500.
Are you sure? Because last time I saw
I'm pretty sure they're 18 and 13.
I'm calling that barely 500 in college basketball.
Fair enough.
If you're making March Madness, I'm calling that.
Here's the other point, and I heard this on another college basketball podcast. is because of like the mix up in teams and conferences. When we think of the Big 12, we think 12 teams, and you're like, oh, so Oklahoma's like 6th or like 7th in the Big 12, so they're still like near the top half of the conference. No, there's only 10 teams in the Big 12 now. They're like near the bottom of the conference. They're not good. This is bad basketball. Why are you rewarding bad basketball?
Because they have Trae Young, and that's how you get views, and that's how the NCAA makes money.
Yeah, so they're 8-10 in conference, and they're 18-12 overall. Baylor's gonna make Baylor is supposed to make the tournament, and Texas is supposed to make the tournament. They're 18-3, 18-3. Like that's like you're just rewarding teams because of the conference they're in. When it's like,
the whole reason I think those teams get in is because they're ahead of Oklahoma, and they want Oklahoma in for Trae Young.
They're not ahead of Oklahoma though. They're all tied at 8-10 in the conference.
I think tiebreaker wise, I'm curious.
The Big 12 is listing them ahead, Oklahoma ahead of all the other 8-10 teams. So, Texas is literally like technically second to last in the conference. Like, what is this? And they're gonna make it into the tournament as a play-in against UCLA, who's like second in the conference.
Yeah, like you have a
Like,
bottom feeder
no
Big 12
sense.
team playing like second team in the Pac-12 in a first 4 play-in game. Like, yes, that is just exactly sound perfect logic. Nothing is wrong with that at all. But no, I can't wait to see their conference tournament come. Like, I just can't wait for it to start. I think it starts like Wednesday.
I would love for Oklahoma. I want to see Oklahoma in the tournament. I'd love to see Baylor, Oklahoma State, like Texas Tech, all lose their first game because I just think it's ridiculous, man. It's just like there's.
I don't understand how the Big 12 has 8 teams projected to get in. Like I can't fathom that.
There's 10 teams in their conference, and 8 of them are supposed to get in. Like that's ridiculous.
And
literally, I think it's Oklahoma State and Iowa. Like obviously, Iowa State's not going to make it. They're below 500. But like, how is and Oklahoma State's? But Oklahoma State has the same record as Oklahoma, Baylor, and Texas. It's just like a ridiculous.
And then you have Pac-12 4 teams, 2 of them both in playing games. And U of A, ASU getting in. U of A a 4 seed, dumb. ASU a 10 seed, kind of generous. And then USC, UCLA playing game. Like how?
Yes. So like USC is second in conference, and they're in a playing game
against Texas. Right now projected as Texas,
and they're 21-10, and they were like a ranked team earlier in the year. They're really good. Utah's 19-20, UCLA's 20-20, Oregon's 20-11, Washington's 20-11, and they're all like above 500. So like, why isn't Arizona, USC, Utah, UCLA, Stanford, Oregon, and Washington all in conversation if they're all like above? They're above 500 in their conference, and they're above 500 overall. Like,
and you can't tell me it's because of how well those Big 12 teams played out of conference. Because outside of Oklahoma played well outside of conference. I'll give them that. Texas didn't.
Texas was like not good out of conference.
Kansas sucked out of conference, and they're a 1 seed.
Yeah, like I understand giving Kansas 1 seed because it's
I think the one team I understand most right now is Texas Tech, because I went back and looked, and they're
23-8. Like they should make
like Texas Tech is good.
The top 3 teams should in the Big 12 right now should be automatically in the conference the tournament. Kansas, Texas Tech, West Virginia, all good teams. Kansas State, you might be on the bubble. TCU on the bubble because they're 21-10. But like those other 3 teams are just like not even 20-win teams. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then I mean, people are going to say, well, the SEC and ACC are getting 8 teams in too, but I actually think those 8 teams in those 2 conferences, they're fine. Like they played well enough out of conference.
The
to
ACC
get in.
is the best conference.
ACC is the best conference. Yeah, no doubt. ACC 8 teams.
Like that would make sense.
Fine.
I would be like, all right, cool. And there's also like 14 teams in the ACC, so it's like,
yeah, and there's 15, 16 in the SEC, and 8 of them are making it. And the top 8, all are almost like they're the worst team getting in is A&M. 20, or actually Alabama might be getting in.
So like, and the thing is with like for the Pac-12, you have Arizona State getting in, who's 4th worst in the conference.
Garbage in conference play. Arizona State was just garbage.
They're 20-10 overall, but like since they went, is that right? They went undefeated in that.
Yeah, they were 12-0 in non-conference. They were up to
they were 12-0 in non-conference, and they were like number 3 overall.
And then they played U of A.
They're like, all right, we have to put them in the conference. It's like, why? Like if you're gonna put them in, that means you have to put like Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Stanford, UCLA, Utah, USC, like all of them in.
Yeah, but again, I've said this to you before. The only difference Arizona State has over them is
They
that
were a top 5 ranked team.
they were top 5, and they've beaten two projected one seeds.
seeds, yeah.
Like no other Pac-12 team has played well enough outside
they have,
of
like,
conference.
They have like the
But at
best
the
out
same-
of conference in terms of all the tournament.
Yeah, like they have the best like pair of wins you can have out of conference. Like Kansas Xavier, huge wins, and then you look at Oregon struggled pretty hard out of conference. They were off the slow. USC was struggling out of conference. UCLA was just dumb because
USC was the biggest like letdown in terms of
USC
like,
was a
the
huge
Pac-12.
letdown.
If they'd like finished ranked, like I could see us getting in maybe one more team just because they played better.
Yeah, if they
but-
had one more out of conference and USC was like a
They're a scary team
surefire
to face in the tournament because like they were projected to be like a top 10 team in the beginning of the year.
Well, they have I can't even say that one guard, like,
Right? No, that's the wing.
Yeah, they had like he was like the pre-conference pick, like player of the year or something. He was like the preseason player of the year conference
Which
pick.
I don't know how you look at DeAndre Ayton and don't automatically be like that's the best player like in college basketball.
I think they expected him to be good, but not this good.
Because
well, so you remember how dominant like Caleb Swanigan was at Purdue?
Yeah.
I feel like Ayton is just like him, if not putting up a little bit better numbers. Like not the sheer double doubles
and like minus the
Swanigan.
fatness.
Yeah, but like he has zero talk around him, unlike Swanigan, who was literally like the most hyped up player going into the tournament. I swear, everybody was like, Purdue's going to dominate because Caleb Swanigan is unguardable. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Purdue went to the Sweet 16. Yeah, went to the Sweet 16, but then they just got routed by Kansas.
Yeah, well, if you look at like Oklahoma and USA played earlier in the year, and it was a 2-point game. 2-point game. And so it's like, and USC's lost to guys like other teams in conference. So what makes like this Big 12 team worthy more than like some of the lower Pac-12 teams?
Just bias. I don't know. Views.
East Coast bias coming back.
Yeah, dude. The Pac-12 gets shafted in literally everything. It doesn't matter what sport. Like it could be water polo, and they'll find a way to shaft the Pac-12.
I feel like the whole the whole of the NIT is going to be all Pac-12 teams.
Oh, I could totally see it, dude.
It's going to be like 10 Pac-12 like
It's
the
going
rest
to
of
be
the Pac-12 teams are
Utah,
gonna be all in
Oregon,
the-
Washington.
all in the NIT.
Like, just all those teams that you're just like, I could have thought they got in, and they're just going to, like, dominate the NIT and just win. Just show, like, hey, yeah, you guys suck. Like, maybe pick us next time.
Maybe pick us next time. So one conference we mentioned but hadn't really talked about much is the ACC. They start tomorrow in their first round for their
Oh, I'm so
conference
excited for
championship.
the ACC tournament.
We got Boston College versus Georgia Tech. These all games won't matter. Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Wake Forest. Like Notre Dame and Syracuse, I think if they make like a run, they could possibly get in. But I don't see them like it's those 3 games are pretty meh. It really comes down to like Wednesday if there's any upsets. North Carolina will play the winner of Syracuse Wake Forest. Virginia Tech will play the winner of Notre Dame Pittsburgh, and NC State will play the winner of Boston College Georgia Tech, while Florida State plays Louisville. Virginia would play the winner of Florida State Louisville, Clemson the winner of the NC State game, Duke the winner of the Virginia Tech game, Miami the winner of the Thursday is when it really gets heated because then you have the 1, 2 through 4 seeds. Really
Oh, yeah, dude. Once Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, and is Clemson the 4th?
Clemson is the 4th, which actually, like, I don't know. I just don't.
Dude, they
I
just
feel like the ACC was just really wild this year in terms of like ups
Just,
and
like,
downs. So
who
I think
the
that's like how
hell
that
was ever
happened.
talking about Clemson at one point? Like, I don't remember
Not me.
Clemson ever becoming
Not
any
I.
topic of discussion. Like, hey, this team might be good. Like, they just played. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing for March. Maybe that we haven't heard anything about Clemson
It's
is
like
good.
actually the best thing. I mean,
Yeah.
like just the last few games, they beat Florida State by 13. They lost to Virginia Tech. They lost to Syracuse.
Ooh,
They beat
Syracuse.
Georgia
That's rough.
Tech, and they lost to Duke. And they've all been like semi-close games, even their wins. So it's kind of up and down. I don't know.
Also, really quick, Pac-12 awards just got announced. Shocker. Aiton got Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year.
Shocker.
And Mike Hopkins, Coach of the Year.
Is that ASU?
No, that's Bobby Hurley. I have no idea who Mike Hopkins is.
I was just like, who coaches him? Who's Mike Hopkins? What the fuck?
Yeah, I really. He's UW's coach.
What? What? Why? Why is he coach of the year?
UW didn't suck like everybody thought, dude.
Well, I mean, they weren't like.
I think they went 23 and
but-
they went 23 and 15
Yeah,
or
but
something.
you think like you have to be in like the top 4 in conference.
Well,
to
you
be
can't
coach of
really
the year.
give Sean Miller the coach of the year at this point.
Yeah, I guess not.
I don't think
But
that
then
would
I would
fly.
give it to like the USC guy. Like
I don't think, dude. I don't know. I think at this point they're just like, can't
Maybe
give it to Miller. The rest of
maybe
the
they were
Pac-12 just kind of sucked.
maybe they were predicted to be like bottom of the conference.
I'm pretty sure Washington was predicted to be dead last once
Yeah.
they lost Porter and the other recruit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dude, imagine if. Oh, I forgot he was connected to
Yeah,
Dub.
Porter was supposed to go to UW, and then
Dude.
his dad left.
Well, no, then they fired Romar, so like that means that meant his dad left.
Well, yeah, but still, his dad left. Like that was
sucks.
yeah. UW
you
could have been just
imagine?
a monster team this year.
Well,
And
no, just,
Pac-12
the
could have been
Pac-12 coulda
cool.
like we would have gotten so many more bids because like, oh, we have Michael Porter, so like the conference is automatically better. Like, dang, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That
UW
sucks.
10-8 in conference, 20-11
Screw
overall.
you, Michael Porter, and Washington for firing Lorenzo Momar. Even
That
though
was
you
so
have-
dumb.
obviously have a better coach now.
They do, but they lost. They lost 2 recruits because I think Michael Porter and then
He was
another
really,
one.
like,
I
a
think
player.
next year.
He was really a player's coach. He wasn't like, in terms of like grand scheme, like he wasn't a bad coach or he wasn't a great coach.
Yeah,
but he was,
I mean he had Markel
definitely-
Fultz last year and didn't really it didn't work too well.
well, he was always hurt. Is the problem.
True,
Like-
true.
And he had also no one else on his team. His team was pretty bad last year.
Oh, his team was trash.
Besides Markel, who was really good. But
Markel Fultz
now
is a
it's-
stud. His team was absolutely.
his jumper's actually coming back a little bit. Have you seen the videos lately?
I have,
It's
and he looks
the thing is for
different
me-
shooting.
the thing is for me, it's like all mid-range pull-ups, and like even from like earlier on when it was still like an issue, it like that was always the one that looked the best was like mid-range off the dribble pull-ups. So I haven't seen him recently shooting any set shots. Like it's all been off the dribble, like around free throw line extended kind of shots.
Do you like that? Do you? I mean,
I think it's okay, like as a building block, but what I worry about is like because he's not going to be the primary ball handler if he comes back. I don't think like next when he comes back next year. I don't think he's really going to come back this year. I don't think they want to try and put him into a playoff.
you can't try to rush that dude in.
If they
and-
were not going to make the playoffs, I could see it, but they're going to make the playoffs. So.
well, and especially because they want a point guard, but Ben Simmons has been running it pretty well.
Well, no, yeah, like they want a guy who can shoot and like create his own shot, but like be a perimeter scorer. Whereas Ben Simmons has like everything's around the rim, and he's a really great distributor. So like they want someone who Ben Simmons can kick out to, and like if he's got an open three, he can hit it. But like right now, I haven't seen any set shots from him, so that's what I worry about. Like, what is set
Yeah,
shot? Looks like?
that's a fair thing to worry about. I mean,
But like he's getting better, and like obviously like in terms of like a driver, he like his pace and his balance and his like handle and his moves. Those were always what I felt like what made him elite. What made him like a number one pick was that he could also shoot on that.
yeah,
So,
like,
like-
he could pull up, he could come off
Exactly.
the pick, like he would just hit it.
His pace and his like balance
so
are
fast.
really really good. Like he knows how to change speeds like extremely well at a high level. So
Also, real quick, there's another championship going on right now between Iona and Fairfield, a 4 seed and a 6 seed in their conference tourneys. Iona picked to win, projected to be a 15 seed. Currently rolling Fairfield up 71-59 with 4.5 minutes left. So it looks like congrats Iona, gonna get in. Don't know anything about them. Literally, I mean, let's see. They lost to Syracuse, lost to St. John's.
how
Lost
much
to,
are they up right now?
they're up 12, 20. Shit,
Still
math?
time. Still time.
Let's see how good my math is
They're
again.
up 12.
12. Still time, 4.5.
20?
But I mean,
They're up 20.
dude, I don't know. I took a guess. All right. Fairfield though, a 6 seed in their own conference tournament. I mean, it'd be cool if they can come back. That'd be another cool tournament story. But I feel like Fairfield would get destroyed first round.
Yeah, it's not gonna be great for either of those teams. I feel like.
No, Iona has not beat a single team worth noting. I mean, they almost beat Rhode Island. They lost by 6.
Maybe if they get in, like they would swap with Harvard.
They're projected a 15 seed still. Harvard 16. They're still
Yeah,
15.
but I mean, like if you could put like I imagine like they might put Iona as a 16 and like Harvard as a 15 just because of like notability.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope.
But then, like, I would say Harvard, even more possibility of an upset. Unless they played, like, Michigan State, which would suck for them.
Yeah, dude. I feel like Michigan State's about to come into this tournament super pissed off because they were playing awful.
Oh, they're not even projected a 2 seed on Lenardi's bracket. Just kidding.
No, yeah. Michigan State, like, I'm pretty sure Michigan State are both. No, Purdue's a 2 seed. Purdue's projected to be a 2 seed. I'm pretty sure.
A for sure second round upset, I feel like.
I agree.
And Cincinnati. But I feel like the teams projected right now to
dude, how
play
about
Cincinnati in the second round aren't that great.
I know, like you're telling me Cincinnati against Seton Hall or Kansas State.
Yeah. Iona. Have Iona beat them.
Ooh.
Duke will get through.
You think?
Yeah.
Duke doesn't have good luck as a 2 seed, man.
They don't, but I trust they have the formula that they had when they won the championship last time with Quinn Cook and Jaleel Okafor and Justice Winslow. Was it Quinn Cook? All right, I know they had Tyus Jones, Justice Winslow, and Jaleel Okafor. But I don't remember if they had Quinn Cook or not. I remember they had like a few senior leaders on that team that like.
That's kind of where they are now.
I think so too. Like Grayson Allen's been really, really good this year,
and he hasn't been tripping people. So good for you, Grayson Allen, not being a douche. I'm proud of you for growing. Because I hated you for your first 2 years.
He's like the stereotypical like Duke white kid that we all hate. He's a senior. Like
he's so much better this year because I haven't heard anything about him, which tells me he's been better this year. Like last year, he just kept tripping people, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, did Dad forget to buy you a Porsche? What's going on, Grayson?
No, the school bought him for that. Don't worry about it.
True. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, they had Quinn Cook. Grayson Allen was on that team too, so he's been a national champion before.
He's a good player, probably a good leader. He's just a dick.
No, yeah, he's like this year's Christian. He's their Christian leader.
Yeah,
now
very accurate.
They have that same build of like star freshmen, with that senior leadership. And Bagley's one of those guys that can just like turn a game.
Yeah, dude, Bagley could easily change the tide of a game in a not a conference tournament, in March Madness. Like, especially if he's one of those dudes.
Especially if he gets hot from the perimeter. Like, then like, how do you guard him? Like,
you can't. What is he? 6'10", 6'11"?
6'11".
My God, 6'11", just catch fire from 3.
The real
pretty decent ball handler. Like, he's not gonna blow your doors off, but he can get by you.
The real thing is if they need Duval and Trent Jr. to play well. They're 2 freshman guards.
Yeah, it's Duke is always such a confusing team to pick.
Yeah,
because they either go Final Four or they lose first round. I really feel like that's all Duke does.
Yeah, they do that a lot. I just like really like the combo of Wendell Carter and Marvin Bagley. That's a tough front court.
That's hard to stop.
Like the only other like team that I feel like has a front court like that is Arizona, and I just say that just because of DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, and Trier's. Are you gonna make fun of me for not saying it? But Trier's back. I mean, he'll be back.
He struggled there like his first game back, but like. I mean,
it's hard to be worried about that dude. He's good.
He is good. He's really good. Their team's really good. Aiden in a tournament is just like tough because like there's not many teams who can match up with him. And I really, 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 really like Gonzaga because of their versatility at the forward position.
Explain. I have no idea about Gonzaga. I'll be honest.
So they have their left-handed guy. I'm forgetting his name, but is their starter Jonathan Williams? I'm pretty sure. And they have this guy Hira Chumara, I think. God, I can't say names. Off the bench, who's like next year projected to be like a first round pick. Yeah, he's really athletic. He's like somewhat raw still in terms of like skill, but Killian Tilly's been really good. Jonathan Williams is a senior forward for them, and he's been dominating. Like when I watched him in the PK80, he was giving Mo Bamba work. Like he was putting him to work.
And Mo Bamba is a very good defender.
That was a really rough game for him in terms of like, especially like later as the game kept going on, like effort until like the second half when they made a run back at it. But that's my biggest concern with Bamba is like, is his effort going to be there? Like he had a situation where he was chasing down a guy in the fast break against a layup, and instead of going up and blocking it with like your length and athleticism is like what you should be doing. He like did that like swipe thing that guards do. Like he swiped down.
Oh,
like,
where you just
like wait like
kind of hope for a ball, but we're like, yeah, I'll foul him.
yeah, exactly. And he fouled him. Like he got the and one layup. And like, what do you like? You're 7 like.
He's like 7
2,
foot, but
and like
he
you
has
have
a massive wingspan.
7'9" wingspan. Like, why are you like reaching? Just go block it. Like,
And
even
it's
if
not
you
like
get called
the dude
for
is one of
goaltending,
those
like,
7'2" guys who can't move.
No, yeah, he's mobile. Like,
He's
it
an
just didn't make
athletic,
sense to me.
huge human being.
Silas Melson's a heat check waiting to happen. Portland, Oregon native, like senior guard. He's got that leadership. Rui Harichimura is that the backup forward. Josh Perkins is a guard. They're just really deep and not really deep. They're really like strong. Who is that? Oh, they have it. Yeah, Corey Kispert. He's been hurt a little bit, but he's a 6'6" forward like / wing player who's just like built like a tight end and can rebound, play defense, shoot the ball. One of those guys that you want in tournament play because he can like guard a 4 or a 3 or a 2 and just
lock him up
yeah,
and then
exactly.
get boards. Yeah, that.
The kid's a tank. Like I was just like, why are you playing basketball? Like you're massive.
And then really quick, I wanted to talk about the SEC tournament a little bit because, again, we touched on it a little bit. If Michael Porter Jr. comes back, Missouri.
I will watch like
Yikes.
every single Missouri game from here on out if he's playing.
I would too. Before college basketball the season even started, I was so excited for Missouri because you could call him a sleeper because people who didn't know recruiting or follow recruiting had no idea the recruits Missouri got. Like they just didn't know. And so just sitting there like, pick Missouri. Like you were going to look like a genius because Michael Porter Jr. is gross. But SEC tournament, you got Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, top 4, all have byes until Friday. Because the SEC tournament, like they play all 14 teams. And then A&M, Alabama play Thursday, which love Alabama, Colin Sexton, stud. Mississippi State, LSU, and then Missouri and Arkansas both have they'll play the winner of the bottom feeder seeds. And then if Missouri wins their game, they'll set up a quarterfinal match in the SEC tournament against Kentucky. And say Michael Porter doesn't come back until they play a quarterfinal against Kentucky. Oh, dude, the headlines, the storyline. Oh, my God.
They were just saving him the whole time. Like, as long as we make the tournament, just bring you back then, we're good to go.
Yeah, but, like,
There's a
so
picture of
my whole thing
Kispert, by the way. Like, just
that's a huge human being. Yeah.
he's just stacked. And he's 6'6", so it's just like...
Yeah, that's a huge human being. But Missouri, like, I feel like they're almost, like, they're pretty close to being a lock in. Like, if you're Missouri and say you do get to a point to where you are a lock, do you just sit Porter again and just wait for the tournament? Or do you try to get him in as much and get him back into as many games?
I'm not sure. I think they should play him. I think they want to, because like you want to reintegrate him into a game and stuff, like see how it like feels, and then like make adjustments from there. Honestly, like if you have him for the first game before the Kentucky matchup, I would play him.
That's kind of what I'm saying because you don't want to like again Kentucky
like,
athleticism.
Play him on restricted minutes, but like still like.
But
get
let
him
him get in against Georgia or Vandy.
Yeah, exactly.
And like just get shots up.
Play with his
run.
teammates.
Yeah, like get used to his teammates again. I mean, the dude, he literally played 2 minutes this year.
Yeah, I think you need to integrate him a little bit earlier than the Kentucky game if they want to beat Kentucky. But as long as
and if they want him to play well against Kentucky, unless he's just one of those guys that just comes back and is just
so dominant that it like doesn't matter.
Just doesn't matter. Comes in and then just drops like 30 because he's just a basketball guy.
Yeah, I think as long as they make it to that game, they'll make the tournament.
I can't wait to see Auburn play through here too. The 1 seed in the SEC. I had no idea Auburn was going to be anything relevant this year.
They're the 1 seed?
Yeah, Auburn's the 1 seed of the SEC.
Are they even in the tournament?
Yeah, they're projected like a 2 or 3 seed or something right now.
What?
I mean,
do not follow SEC basketball besides Kentucky because once it comes tournament time, that's all that matters is Kentucky. They're a 3 seed. They're playing Charleston, but they would play Miami or Baylor, and I think Miami would win that, and I think Miami would beat Auburn.
Yeah, and I haven't watched Auburn play at all.
I don't follow SEC basketball. Florida and Kentucky. Those are like the only 2 teams that you ever need to know.
The only reason I was following Kentucky at all this year is because they were losing, and I was so happy. I was just laughing.
You know they're going to turn around though. Like that happened.
Oh, they have to.
They happened the year they I think won the championship. They were an 8 seed.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
they were like an 8 seed, and then like they just clicked finally, and they just went and won the championship.
Because that's what happens when you have 5 5-star recruits. Like it might take a little bit, but those guys can still play basketball.
Really good coach.
Coach Cal's a great coach. Who'd you rather play for, Cal or K?
K.
Honestly, I don't really have an opinion. I was just curious.
Okay, because just
Pay you more money.
honestly, probably Cal would pay you more money.
I feel like Cal and Kentucky would pay you way more money.
absolutely pay more money. But I feel like the USA connection and stuff, like you might like get some cool stuff. Also, I've been like a Duke fan like somewhat for a lot of my life. I just think they're a cool program. Coach K is like obviously phenomenal coach. Maybe
Yeah,
get
I
to
think
meet LeBron.
true. And the USA connection honestly would probably be one of the coolest ones. Like get a
Yeah,
chance
like-
to go play for Team USA like in the Olympics. Like
Did you see 2 Chainz was at their game the other day? Like
no,
2
no way.
Chainz was at their game. Yeah, so
That's
like they
so
had
sweet.
they had college because it was Duke UNC rivalry week, and they had like game day there, and they had like they have the half court shot thing before like the game and stuff.
Right.
The kid hit the half court shot, and like 2 Chainz came out and dapped him up. Like
No way. By the way, Iona Fairfield down to the final like 40, 45 seconds. 6-point game now. I might have jinxed Iona, but
I doubt it. Like there's not
we'll
enough
see.
time.
There's
Oh, it's a
56
minute.
seconds.
There's a minute.
There's a minute.
It's a 7-point game.
I think the other one was more updated than I don't know. Stupid play-by-play on ESPN and great
It's
school
like, so,
Wi-Fi.
like, great school Wi-Fi.
Great school Wi-Fi
Great.
down here.
Phenomenal.
If
No
you guys didn't
complaints
know,
here.
we're kind of basically in a basement.
We are in a basement.
So like Wi-Fi is very hard to
Phenomenal.
come by.
It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just great. Yeah, dude. A
The
minute left.
Stags.
7 game.
What a
yeah,
name.
Fairfield Stags.
The Stags.
Who, by the way, are 9-9 in their conference. Somehow playing in the conference
To be fair,
championship.
Iona's the Gales. Like, what is that?
You got the Stags versus the
The
Gales,
Gales.
dude. What a championship.
Speaking of Gales, I'm pretty sure St. Mary's is the Gales.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I like them. They're good. They've been a lot better this year. They actually like really can like challenge Gonzaga for like the title this year. Obviously Gonzaga still won it, but I think that's a tough matchup for getting Virginia Tech would be like tough in the first round, but it's a tough matchup for Xavier or Harvard if Harvard beats Xavier.
God, dude. I just
I want it to happen
I
so
just
bad.
want
Who's
Harvard to be a
Harvard's leading
16 seed
Who's
against
Harvard's leading
Kentucky.
scorer? I'm gonna
Like-
I'm gonna just become a Harvard fanatic.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I always pick the Ivy League for a first round upset, just because they had that string of like 3-4 years in a row where they were just rolling teams in the first round. And you're just like, no way.
Yale was like really. Was it last year or the year before that they like really like made a run?
I think it was the year before.
I remember they were just like so scrappy, and I loved it. It was great. They had that one guard that was just like super good.
Yeah, 'cause
That's the thing. If you have that one guard,
that's all you need is the one guard who can do it all. Like if you have one guard who can dominate, which is why I actually really like Middle Tennessee State.
I have no
they-
idea. So
They have one sec. Let's see if anything can load here.
that's why like you don't want Oklahoma in the tournament because it's like not fair. Because like if Trae Young just gets hot again, because now he's gonna be playing teams that like haven't like been scouting Trae Young all year. They don't know his tendencies.
yeah.
Like they have like just a short amount of time to get ready for the game. Oh crap! Now like Trae Young's hit.
Now
7
Trae
threes
Young
in a
is
row.
dominating. Uh-oh. One sec. I'm getting there. Stuff's loading. Yeah, okay. This dude named Nick King. I was wrong. He's a 6'7". He's
He's a wing.
They call him a forward. He's a wing. The dude averages like 25 points and like 10 rebounds a game.
He's shooting 38% from. He's like a late
He's-
second round. Like he's like a mid second round
Dude,
pick.
he-
Like shooting 38% from three.
He's an Alabama transfer.
Oh my. Oh yeah. Duh.
He went Memphis, Bama, and he's shooting 49%.
He's shooting like way better. Like this is
This is
By far-
outrageous looking at
this
his
is-
stats right now.
this is by far his best shooting like year in like all categories.
38%
impressive.
from
He must have put in like
a
a lot of work. He's also getting 8 rebounds a game.
yeah, like they had, and then also like I saw this dude's name one time when I was clicking on their like
Giddy Potts.
Giddy Potts,
I'm
a
innocent.
senior guard.
I'm instantly a Middle Tennessee
Dude,
fan.
They were ranked for the first time ever in like their entire
Giddy
history of the program.
Potts.
And I was clicking on a box score. A senior guard named Giddy Potts. I am sold. The dude shoots also 87% from the free throw line, which is huge in March.
Yeah. it's
Senior leader
a lot of
guard.
fouls.
Senior leader guard. Big
Another,
defense guy,
like,
dude.
3-point shooter.
Averages 1.5 steals a game. He won't score a ton, but like it's Giddy Potts, man. And Giddy we trust.
I'm so ready for the Giddy Potts run of like 20-point games, and he just dominates.
Oh, dude. Oh my. Wait.
That's an incredible name. Oh my god.
I need to check something because this says right here. Do they have a dude shooting 40% from three? Yeah, he's a guard.
Yeah, they're a good 3-point shooting team. That's great.
I love
I
that.
like that pick. That's a good pick. Who's my Cinderella? Besides Harvard, obviously, but like that's just like.
But
wild.
yeah, if you guys didn't catch the drift, like Middle Tennessee is my Cinderella team.
This isn't really a Cinderella because like they're big conference. But the fact that Alabama is like gonna get in on play-in, that's scary. Because Colin Sexton is one of those guys that he's like got that like killer mentality. Like
Colin Sexton
he could just
he's
like
scary.
go on a tear. He scored like 30 points against like when he was playing 3-on-5. He's like ridiculous.
Yeah, that game was awesome. And really quick, to help you sell more on Middle Tennessee, they don't have huge wins. Don't get me wrong, but they have beat Murray State, who's, again, pretty decent team coming out of a small conference, beat Vandy, dominated Ole Miss, lost to Auburn by 6, lost to USC by 5, and lost to Miami by 3. Like, they can play. Middle Tennessee can play. Don't sleep on the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, I guess my Cinderella has to be Harvard, I guess, because there's not really anything else that I like. You took the best one.
I told, like, I saw it on Twitter. They were ranked for the first time ever in program history. I was like, no way, who's on this team? And I saw Giddy Potts, and I was like, I'm in. Like,
can we just like have the Giddy Potts watch now? Like that's like
oh, dude,
every week we have our Giddy Potts watch.
I don't know when the
spot.
Conference USA tournament
Giddy Potts
starts.
watch spot. Oh my god,
That's incredible. Giddy Potts watch spot. Ball talk coming at you.
that's great.
And then, oh wait, let's see. Did the game go final? Iona ended up winning by 12. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
They probably had to start half fouling.
Yeah, they started hitting free throws.
Yeah,
Zach
fouling,
Lewis hit
yeah.
just about every free throw he made or he got put. So
Zach
Iona,
Lewis, Terracona on.
Iona in the tournament. There's another championship game get ready to start, which I'm actually super excited because these two teams have been in the tournament before. Give me a second. Wi-Fi again. Where'd you go? East Tennessee State and UNC Greensboro. And if you remember, East Tennessee State
That's
was like the
interesting.
13-14 seed last year and won 2 games.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And UNC Greensboro's gone on a run before. So like this is another like these two could be potential Cinderella teams as well. Let's see, I have it written down. Where'd it go? So right now UNCG's picked to win and they're projected 14 seed. Like that's an enticing team.
Yeah, that's a fun matchup.
I mean, I can't wait to watch it because that's one of those conferences that aren't like awful, but they're still not a big conference.
Yeah.
So like nobody really cares, but then they're gonna have like a dope championship game that's probably ended on a buzzer beater.
So let me see. If Harvard has a guard I'm like still trying to get it to load. If Harvard has a guard that's a leading scorer, I honestly might take them in the first round if they play.
They just
Kansas
need a
or
guard,
Xavier.
then a huge white forward, and I'm sold on Harvard.
I'm sold.
I'm just in.
Absolutely sold.
But running out of time here, honestly extending time a little bit. That's okay.
It's just such a fun time of year. We have to.
God, dude, it's March Madness, and the Mariners made probably the best signing they could ever
Yeah,
make.
quick non-March Madness signing. Talk. Ichiro is going to sign with the Mariners for a 1-year deal. He's 44 years old.
He's coming home to retire.
Confirmed Mariners winning the World Series.
Ichiro gonna pitch, do it all, lead the Mariners to the World Series.
They're kind of led by 2 forwards, which I'm worried about.
That's rough.
But they have a guard that was scoring 14 a game, but he's been hurt. It looks like, and I don't know if he's been playing.
Yeah, I still I think Kansas is that bad, dude. I'll take.
To be
I'll
fair,
take 'em.
the forward is shooting 44% from 3.
Oh my god,
And he's shooting like 5 threes a game.
That'll do it.
I like that. I'm so into Harvard. Harvard's my pick. Harvard,
Middle Tennessee, and Loyola Chicago. You heard it here first.
Oh my, dude! Imagine if Harvard wins. I want it so bad.
Just write it down. Anybody who ends up listening: Loyola Chicago, Harvard, and Middle Tennessee.
Yeah. So they have this. Chris Lewis seems to be like their center. It seems like he's in terms of shooting, he's like 61%. So he's obviously taking a lot of layups, and then he's 12 points per game. I don't have his rebounds right here. They have their guard who is hurt is Bryce Aiken. He only started 9 games this season and played 14. So maybe he's like just coming back, trying to get back from injury. But he's averaging 14 a game.
Ooh.
But he doesn't shoot the ball well from 3, it looks like. But he's shooting 5 a game, so maybe he's just like struggled as he's came back.
Maybe he's a drive guy, and maybe they got a pick and pop going with that forward.
Yeah, no, like that forward is shooting 44% from 3, 79% from line, 15 points a game.
That guard doesn't need to shoot from the 3 if you have a forward shooting 80% from the line and 44% from 3.
They also have another guard. He's only averaging like 7.5 a game, but he plays 32 minutes, shoots 42% from 3.
What's his defense looking like?
Was his defense looking at? I don't
Yeah,
know.
steals. What do you
Oh,
how many
steals?
how many steals
Let
does
me
he
look
have?
at his. This is just on shooting. Let's go ball control.
Ball
Right.
Harvard with advanced stats. Go figure.
Yeah, shocker. Steals per game. That guy has 1.2 steals per game. He leads the
There you
team in
go.
steals. He's their
There- I
defensive
told
guy.
I told you. I called that.
He also has like 2.6 assists. Like he's all right.
He's probably the backup guard who had to get just thrusted in. He's like, I don't know how to pass or shoot, but shit, I'm locking people down.
I'm locking people.
I am
down.
locking people down. Let's go. He's gonna be like that 6'1" white dude.
I'm so into Harvard now. Like that's I'm putting that in my bracket. I don't
Harvard, Middle Tennessee, and Loyola. I'm picking all of them. I love upsets. That's all I ever root for.
care. No, yeah, he's been playing lately. So Bryce Aiken's back, the other guard.
The one
averaging
averaging
like
14. Dude,
I
Harvard.
I like it. I like it.
See, I bet you maybe they struggled early in the year because this dude wasn't playing. Like, this could be their dude, and they were just lacking him.
That is so exciting. That is so freaking exciting.
Oh, I'm just okay. We got to wrap it up. But this Sunday, Selection Sunday, March 11th.
That's gonna be a fun Monday.
So next week is literally just gonna be way more college basketball.
I'm so excited.
Maybe we'll fill out brackets while we go. Who knows?
I like it. We can go through it because we'll go through the online.
We'll go through all the matchups,
great.
and then we'll just start. God, dude, so many takes
We
on
might do
takes.
it.
We'll see how many Pac-12 teams get in, how many Big 12. We'll see what happens with the ACC tournament, the SEC tournament. Will Michael Porter be back?
Jeez.
Next Monday is getting me riled up.
I'm so excited, Luke.
For any baseball player listening, blood flow, baby. It's
Blood
here.
flow.
It's here just for March Madness.
The content. We see beach balls.
And then we'll just send you out with some scores for any semis going on again. Iona won. They clinched. Charleston, 1 seed in their conference. They're going to the championship of their bracket. South Dakota State ran table in their semifinal. Another potential sleeper pick
Yeah,
right
South
there.
Dakota
South Dakota State. They were the team a couple years ago, the Jackrabbits. They went, I think, into the Sweet 16.
Right now, they're projected. Are they even projected in? I think if they're first in the conference, you'd think they'd be.
They are the 1 seed. It's the funny thing. 1 and 2 seed in that conference on the summit is South Dakota State and South Dakota. Gonzaga, their semifinal just started. They're playing San Francisco. Should roll them. We'll see what
The
happens.
problem is they're projected to play Arizona, who's going to be
Oh God,
Arizona's gonna be so pissed off because of everything that's happened recently, and they're getting technically cleared because the changes in the reporting and stuff. So I just don't see any. I see Arizona making Sean Miller's first Final Four.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen because I just U of A, but
Fair.
also the semifinal game just finished. Cleveland State, the 8 seed in their conference, is going to the final. They beat them. They beat Oakland, I think the 1 or 2 seed, 44-43. Cleveland State, they're 12 and 22.
What a terrible score.
Cleveland State is 12 and 22, and they're going to their conference championship, potentially going to make the
Who are
tournament.
they playing?
I believe they will have Milwaukee Wright State. Yeah, Milwaukee Wright State, and Wright State's the team picked to win it. Wright State's a 15 seed projected right now. 23-9, 14-4 in the horizon.
Dude, that'd be so great if they won.
Let's go Cleveland State.
Go
Gonzaga's
Cleveland
already
State.
up 13-4.
Cleveland State to win their tournament, play Purdue, and then beat Purdue.
Oh my God, let's go. And finally, last one, because timing stuff. East Tennessee State, UNC Greensboro just started. It's 8-8. I'm telling you, this finish is going to be nuts.
I'm excited.
I just
for
have a feeling. It's on ESPN2, and I can't wait to watch it. And then BYU, St. Mary's, semi later tonight.
Semifinal, right?
Yeah, semifinal for
That
the
should
West
be a good game.
Coast.
That's actually big for
I'm
St.
excited
Mary's,
for that one.
because if St. Mary's wants to jump up in the
They got
Like,
they're
they
gonna have
have
to steamroll BYU.
yeah, they have to steamroll BYU because BYU is a good program. How are they not in the conference? How are they not? See,
BYU 23-9, 11-7 in
and
conference.
that's a good conference. How are they not in discussion? That's ridiculous.
Because they're in the
Anyways.
West Coast and they're BYU.
Yeah, anyways, well, thanks for joining us on this college basketball edition of Ball Talk.
Expect way more Monday.
Exactly. This is the best time of year, Luke.
Oh, this is the greatest time of year, dude. Another, some first round in whatever the MEAC is, he's going into overtime. I love March Madness. The team's 4-27 versus 18-13, and they're taking it to overtime. God, I love college basketball. Delaware State Hornets, let's go. 4-27. See you all next week. I am excited.
All right, that's all the time we have, guys. Thanks for listening tonight. This episode of Ball Talk.
See you next week.